Alright, let's get started. Hello everyone, my name is Shoot and this is some more Nubby's Numberlock Factory challenges. This one is Nubbelock, named after the Pokemon term Nuzlocke. In this challenge, if you fail to meet the round score at any time, you will randomly lose one of your items. I think that this and One Shot McGee are two sides of the same coin, because they both ask the question of how consistent can you make your build. All it takes is one set of bad bounces or bad peg generation to lose the best item in your roster, and then you get to watch as you slowly lose every other item over the next 4 lives before losing. Either way, this is going to be a full commentary over the run, pausing at times to give some insight and or my own tips for the game. So here, my first shot, I instantly don't like it, and I reroll to go for a cheese wheel. I don't get it though, but I do see rubber chicken. I think that re-rolling for cheese house is pretty much always the best bet. In most challenges, if not all of them, cheese house gives so much consistency early game and gives you so much money. It's really valuable. The scaling that it does give as well can be bad. Scaling too fast makes flat items really bad, and so your shops become a lot worse because most of the items you find won't be worth grabbing. I get my perk, zombie perk. I'll pause real quick. Zombie perk I think is really good. It takes a little bit of time to understand why, but the main reason it's so good is because of pregnancy test. So aside from black market's really good for most challenges aside from like expiration date and maybe amnesiac, but essentially the pool of black market items is so small that with a reroll you can sort of consistently guarantee or reliably get a pregnancy test. And the zombie perk triggers for each Nubby death, so having an extra Nubby gives you an extra trigger of all of these effects and the perk itself. And first peg popped effects are really good, but it can be hard to take advantage of them at times because they trigger at the end. So for example, with Jake the Snake, maybe you get like 4 triggers off of him, but you have nothing else to pop pegs at that point, so all that extra value just goes to waste. Having this perk with other copies of Nubby makes it really good. And so when I see this, that's instantly what I'm thinking about going for. I missed right there, but... Oh, and second miss was really sad, but third miss was really sad. It's fine. It's fine. Have faith. But we get there. Dangerously, but we get there. And a cheese house. Perfect. We are now mostly safe for the early game. The next like 10 to 20 rounds, we're okay. Another ×2 restock is good. Not really worried about any of this, just kind of on autopilot. Not much to say. Still a little scary at times because it's not guaranteed. I reroll and don't get much else. As long as I get like 121, I'll be okay. We do, thankfully, but just barely. Grabatron. So I go for this to get to key, and I actually happen to get a cheese house, which is very lucky. So upgraded cheese house is very good. It's more than double the effect. And that makes my perk also better later on, which you'll see. So grab the key because I want to get pregnancy test really bad. It would work really well with my build right now. That is all I'm thinking about. With the upgrade, I'm in a pretty good condition. Without it, I'd be pretty scared. But I can fulfill this pretty much guaranteed with just like a couple peg hits. Other things that would be good to see, I would like to see like a Jake the Snake. I'd love to get the Void perk with Cheese House. And I also want to get pants at some point. Pants are also really good. There we go, ×2. We're almost at black market. Here we are. So we get pregnancy test, which is really good. Pop that on. And pregnancy test is sort of misleading. There's a handful of items and phrasing that can be this way. But it says that Nubby gives birth to a copy of himself. What it really means is that all Nubbies at that point give birth to copies of themselves. So if you have 1 stick, then you get 1 Nubby. If you have 2 sticks, then you get 2 Nubbies because you had 2, and then you get 2 more, 1 for each of them. So 2 sticks will give you 4 total Nubbies, whereas 1 upgraded stick gives you 3 total. And I guess in a way it is a trade-off because you're using an extra slot to get that extra Nubby. But if you get 3 sticks, then you'll get 8 Nubbies instead of 5. From the from having 1 upgraded and then 1 extra. So it is a little misleading in the phrasing, but it is worth keeping the pregnancy tests separate instead of combining them for your own use. So here I'm thinking about chicken because I want to start getting some extra money. I'm a little scared. I took spring just for extra triggers because again I'm getting extra bounces from the extra copy of Nubby, and so anything that gives me extra bounces is beneficial. And chicken is just very reliable overall. Coming pretty well. I'm staying alive for longer, so I get more procs, more bounces. Here I'm feeling okay. Here I get candle perk is really good because again Nubby dies and I have 2 Nubbies, so I get that extra time. And in the short term, it is better. I think cheese wheel or cheesy perk is better overall, but in this challenge where 1 missed round is an item gone, I cannot risk the long-term plan. As far as items, there isn't too much I see yet. I'm going to reroll. I thought about glasses. Oh, actually, no, I get monstrosity, that's right. So I think I was curious and I wanted to test and see if you get 1 per Nubby or just 1 period, and it's only 1 per Nubby sadly, but it's still cool. Anyways, that was round 30 and we had the extra procs off of the cheese wheel, so we got tons of extra coins and restocks. But our scaling is also going to be getting faster as a result, so pros and cons. This is where having extra peg triggers is very helpful with chicken and monstrosity. Monstrosity is also a item that I think is better with multiple copies of instead of getting a upgrade, but that might just be personal preference. So checking again, I get a second cheese house. Thinking about it, it's kind of awkward to fit in. I don't really have a good place for it, so I go for broken socket. I love broken socket personally. Tart Lord's really good, by the way. Really, really good, but I can't make it work right now. Not quite, at least. I'm thinking about it, though. Tart Lord's really good because it allows you to upgrade black market items consistently. Normally, you only get like 2 or 3 black market visits in a game, and so having Tart Lord can give you an easy way to get upgrades for them without having to rely on that. But back to the socket. It is consistent peg triggers like anything else. It is only 1 set of peg triggers, but it's still really good to have. It's not a bad first item to grab in your first shop if you see it. Here I get 2 more. It's a very common item as well. Kazoo is also really good. I love Kazoo. And I also go for a wider board instead of combined. I think combined is better, but I want to... Yeah, I think about it. But I think going wide is better just in case I mess up. Because I really don't want to lose the test or the cheese house yet. Two stock. Boss does not matter in this case. Get the clear. Next perk. Another zombie perk, which is really good. Again, extra nubbies, extra perk triggers. And we have a couple first peg pops trigger, which is the socket as well. So it makes socket better. Here I'm just kind of on autopilot. I'm not that worried about losing one of these rounds, but I'm also not like excelling either. Only like a ×1, ×2 on average, but it's consistent enough that I'm okay with it. I have some money. So here I double up on a kazoo, and I sell the other. I should have just... That was a slight misplay. I should have just combined the two I had and then bought pants instead of buying the other one and selling one. So that was a misplay on my part, but this was like an hour and a half into the session, so I was kind of out of it. It's okay though. Legs are like one of the best popping items in the game. Especially with re-triggers, they just go off really crazy. ×2 for a peg popped, and then ×4 with upgrade is really, really good. Here I see Chaotic and Ray Gun, and I'm tempted to have Ray Gun. It's kind of tough to decide. I have a lot of bounces. I have Chicken to help get pegs popped as well, so I can get full peg pops consistently. And Chaotic is inconsistent with a full board, and I want a full board or a full inventory because of the challenge modifier. So I go with Ray Gun. Here I'm thinking I like... what is it called? Yeah, I'm kind of looking at it. I'm not a huge Uranium Rod fan, personally. Squid's really good. This was a huge find. This is where I was kind of talking about how a duplicate of the test is better than an upgrade of the tests, like every time. So I freeze it for a second, reroll, check around. I think it's either now or later on, but I think I saw something and buy it. Yeah, I saw Monstrosity. I don't move it over yet, because I hadn't thought about it, but I will soon, and you'll see. So I realize sometime soon that the extra chicken procs are kind of getting in the way, because I can't double my pegs first to get the extra value from Kazoo. And I'm getting a little close to, you know, the bottom of that score. Getting a little concerned about that. I'm not quite making it up as high as I want. Yeah, and I actually lose chicken as a result of that failure. So now I get 4 balls instead of just 3 or just 4. Because I get 2 extra deaths, which means 2 extra zombie triggers and 2 extra cheese house triggers, and then extra triggers of the candle as well, which is 2 extra for each pass. So it was a very lucky loss and a blessing in disguise. This is the run where I learned that it was worth doing this way. And I moved pants to 3 because I want to put it in the ray gun slot. I take the key, because again I want to go and get more black market items. So we're doing way better. Lost chicken, but we're still doing it. But it's all right. Very fortunate. Burger party is whatever. Not too worried about that. But we are rapidly approaching a point in which the cheese house is just not keeping up. It's flat scoring, and it's just not gonna handle it for much longer. I see the shop, and I'm not that interested in any of them. Mollusk is kind of whatever. I'm not a huge fan of it. If it was a more generous condition, I would be, but otherwise it's not so good. And Mannequin Head as well, I'm not that interested in. I reroll and get a 3rd stick. And I decide to put it in slot 7. I'm like, hold on a second. Hold on a second. Should I? No. Yeah. There we go. And now I have 8 balls. Because again, it works very differently than it seems. Than it sounds like it would work. So I get a ton of extra balls. Nice. Buckshot is kind of whatever because I have stick. Waffle perk is a little better. I swap out with kazoo to get extra triggers on the doubling for extra points. And it's already round 62. I'm feeling okay at this point, but I'm only like, you know, I'm kind of barely getting there. I'm relying a lot on Cheese House, which is flat scaling, and I don't like that. But Zombie perk, again, scales really well with Pregnancy Stick, which scales well with First Peg Popped. I buy that to get some extra money, because it's like a net 2. I look around. I don't have enough money to do any shenanigans with the Tart Lord, but I'm keeping my eyes out for any really good scaling effects. A Jake the Snake would be really good. A 3D Glass would be really good. Anything like that would be really good. I really want First Peg Pop effects. That was a really good boss challenge, or boss, like, not boss, but like a event. Gave me a ton of money that I really needed. I'm just barely scraping by, but I'm getting there. Another cheesy perk. Eggy perk was tempting, but I can't force trigger the corrupted items, so it's not worth getting, sadly. I wish, though. So, another cheesy perk. A very close call, but I barely get there. That could have been really, really bad. But I get my pants upgrade, which is huge. And then I reroll, nothing much. I check cafe for money. I get nothing of interest. I buy strawberry, but it's kind of late to be working on that. It's kind of a waste, honestly. Either way, 8 balls, really good. The pants upgrade is going to be huge for this. You can already see it making a difference in how many points I'm getting. Pants are so good. And at this point, I'm pretty confident that I can win the final round. Just because of how good pants are. It is a little RNG on like which triggers I get, but I have enough Nubby balls dying that it's consistent enough. Death Ray, I'm not a fan of personally. Or not Death Ray, the All-Seeing Pyramid. I'm not a fan of personally. I think it's kind of bad, but it's fine. Because I'm getting towards the end, I buy kebabs to get extra kazoo triggers for hopefully pants to go off on. And again, each of those kebabs gets a trigger per Nubby death. So I get like 8 triggers per kebab perk because I have 8 Nubbies, which means extra triggers of kazoo, which gives more chances for pants to pop off. And you can see the effect of it immediately as I've like doubled my points just by buying kebab perks. And I wish I could have gotten that 2 million peg, but so be it. So, looking shop, nothing really that we want. This is the final shop anyways. Buy an extra kebab perk. Again, 8 triggers of that just because of extra Nubbies. And that's 79. And then time for the boss. And we get Tony, so he sets a peg to 1 when he hits it with his laser. And it was a little scary at first, but we get some good triggers with ants, and we get a 7 restock to finish it off. So, yeah, Baloney Tony's will be unlocked. So that was Nubbelock. So key takeaways: Stick is really good in combination with First Peg Popped, Test, and Pants and Cheese House. If you get Zombie perk first, highly recommend looking for a pregnancy test in your black market. And because the pool of items there is so small, it is pretty reliable to get what you want from the black market. Either way, I've been Shoot. Hopefully you learned something, or if you have any questions, let me know down below. I don't think I misspoke at all, but if I did, let me know in the comments. It is late, and I'm trying not to give wrong information. Some challenges have different advice depending on, what they're about. But either way, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.